Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. We are here once again. I'm Alistair Sampson. We have Mr. Crossley Sue with us and Micaiah Wilson as well. Want to just welcome everyone back to our session today. So giving persons enough time to go ahead, share the link as far as they could to as much people as they could. All right.
Yep.
Real important that everybody connect. You all get some shout outs to whoever you want to get shout outs to right now. They say, Mike.
Hey guys, sending much love. Glad to be back on with you guys again. We're looking forward to today's session. Last week was amazing. Thanks for the support and looking forward to sharing again today, man.
Yeah, same. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody having a great week so far. We continue the conversation. Thank you for joining. And this week is definitely about physical health. And even as we started last week, we touched on mental health and the stuff that people have been going through and what you can be doing right now to deal with some of those issues. And one thing we know for sure that aids with your mental health is your physical health. And along with physical health is nutrition. So I hope people have been eating properly as well, and not just home. And I know a lot of chefs came out, but I hope a lot of people decided, hey, let me get into some exercise as well. So today, how can we start? I mean, physical health during the pandemic. Did you guys exercise at all?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sean, try to get it. I think in the beginning it was just to be honest, in the beginning, no, I didn't exercise in the beginning at all. But when I got my mind right, it took me a couple of weeks, but it was just getting in mind right and saying, listen, we could actually start training our bodies and everything like that. All the time we were saying we didn't have time. And now we have the opportunity to actually do this. So yeah, I started training a lot more actually in terms of doing everything. And I mean, there are some positive effects that are happening with respect to it mentally in terms of how I carry out my day, in terms of productivity. And I know we're going to touch on that as we go along with today, but actually concentrating on the physical health does wonders definitely for your mental state and your productivity during the day. I found out real decent in terms of that happening from first-hand experience.
Yeah, that's for sure. For me, it wasn't really how to put it, a matter of choice. It's something that I had to do because that's what I do. But in addition to that, though, I think it kept me sane even more. With the whole lockdown situation and lack of human interaction, right? With the outside, I was able to really and truly work a lot more on, like Alistair said, working on yourself. And I really found some really creative ways to keep in shape and to keep yourself, going. And it ended up to be really, really fun, really exciting. And I'm really happy today to be able to share some of those stuff. Because I think a lot of people would have thought that this lockdown period was a time to just cut off everything and go dormant and like it's hibernation mode now. So yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately for me, when I started exercise, my sciatica nerve acted back up. So I kind of had to more or less be very, not strict, but just reserved on what I exercised or the exercises I did.
Right.
Because it doesn't make sense you're exercising and the pain is actually more than the exercise. You're not going to get the real value out of it.
True.
But I must say, being in lockdown and during this pandemic, exercise was definitely one way I saw where people could have stayed, help their productivity. Because, exercise is not just, we talk about physical health and mental health, but exercise does something for your energy levels. It gives you that boost. So you actually could be more productive. And I know a lot of people were talking about they weren't feeling as productive during the lockdown. And I asked a couple of people, are you exercising? Are you doing anything? And most of them are saying no, they weren't. So you can actually see the direct correlation between that physical activity, even if it's a matter of you getting up early in the morning and going to your office. having to walk, having to go upstairs, interact with people, being on the move does contribute. So, Mike, I know this is your area of expertise as a personal trainer. With the clients and even people in your circles, was it harder for them to actually get into exercising, or was it easier as they had the time?
Um, now you would think that people would take the opportunity that they have the time to really and truly use it to take care of themselves and really and truly dedicate some time to going hard at it. But the truth is that a lot of people actually took a step back, right? I want to send a shout out to my clients because they really took on that mindset because I think it's a process you have to go through before something like this happens. To get yourself to that place where no matter what, I'm going to say about me, right? But for a lot of other people, they would have sent messages asking, trying to figure out if trading is still happening, if we're doing anything. But to say they had that personal commitment at that point in time to really keep at it, I think it dropped a lot during this lockdown period with a lot of people.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
No, I would have figured that much for some people. And for the audience out there, if you all have any questions with respect to physical health, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Time we'll be monitoring it and we'll try our best to answer your questions as we go along. All right. So just keep dropping it in the comments. Don't feel free. And as again, share the link to as much people as you could because I see we are live and are live at 6:30 this evening. All right. Now, I think we were chatting a little bit before we started off here live, Mike, and Chris, and I think what we were talking about was a couple of questions that came in prior to us starting up this evening. And again, thanks to everybody who have been sending their questions for us to be able to answer. And I think one of the questions that we were chatting about before we did really get into the meat of it, I think somebody was asking with respect to which one is more important, if it's mental health or if it's physical health?
Physical health, yeah. So one of the questions we got, let me just read it off here. The specific question was, which would we say is more important towards your success in daily life, mental health or physical health? Right? Now I'm gonna ask you guys firstly what you guys think, and then I'll give I'll answer the question thereafter from somewhat scientific aspect and a more practical aspect too. So from your guys' experience and your personal opinion as well, being in business, being actively working on these different things, what do you think is more important to you guys?
I don't see there's I kind of see as a hand in glove situation and not one that is more important than the next, because for me physical health does aid your mental health, and numerous reasons why. Now some people talk about when they are tired that they need to rest, and some people I've told people maybe it's not that you need to rest, maybe you need to start to exercise more to build your energy level. And you'll find that when you're a body in motion, as I forget the law, a body in motion stays in motion. So if you're exercising, if you're moving, if you're being active, your body is moving, your blood is flowing, you find you're breathing better, that is going to provide blood and oxygen to your brain, to your organs. So you're going to be a more well-functioning machine, right? So I don't see it as one being more important than the next. I see it as a hand in glove. Oftentimes you'll find people that don't exercise or don't take care of their physical health tend to be ailing from many different things besides, well, we already know the obesity level in the country. Yeah. People that deal with anxiety and depression, people who deal with mental fatigue, mental fog, and they don't realize that, is they not being active keeping or causing these things is like a domino effect. So for me, it's a hand in glove. It's not one more important than the next.
Yeah, I was thinking along that line as well. What I realized too is that once you make up your mind to do something, your body does begin to submit when it comes to that, and it pushes itself. I mean, if you look at even marathon runners, you heard of marathon runners sitting on a wall sometimes when they run, and it becomes mental for them to be able to finish the race. And to me, it goes the hand in hand in terms of how it is, because there are instances where your mental state will push you physically, and then there's a whole area where your physical exercising helps bring clarity to your mental state for you to be able to function, to be more productive in work as you can to be. So to me, I believe there are different cases where one could be over the other based on the circumstance, based on what it is that is happening with you. So like, for instance, persons who work in the office or anything like that, or like, along those lines, you find that once they put physical exercise as part of what they do, you find that it brings clarity in terms of how they think, how they function and work. They're not as groggy and pissed off all the time. It pays a lot of attributes to that. I think even emotional health has a part in it as well. I just my thoughts.
To be honest, both perspectives are very valid, and I think separating them sometimes is what causes a problem. Right, but I just want to read some of the comments we've been getting so far with regards to that same question. Right, shout out to James McCormick. He says, my humble opinion is everything stems from the mental. Right, Rachel Pesnell says we need both, but I think a sound mental health can branch off into physical and others.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, people have been thinking for years that where the mind goes, the body will follow. Right, that has been the train of thought for so many years. And I want to just point out a couple of things that I think people take for granted sometimes when it comes to physical activity and exercise, right? The way your brain is made up, there are two key parts of the brain that I want to address really. One is your frontal cortex, which is right behind your forehead, and the other is your temporal lobes, right? At the side of your brain. These areas are directly impacted by physical activity, right? And you may ask yourself, okay, well, what does that mean for us? Right now, your prefrontal cortex that deals with decision making, focus, attention, and your personality. Right, your temporal lobes within there. There's something called it's your hippocampus. Right, that's where it really and truly deals with your long-term memory and that kind of thing. Now, studies have now shown that exercise can actually have a direct impact on your hippocampus, right? What it means is it expands your ability for your brain to retain long-term memory, right? And that is simply from exercising. In addition to that, it also affects directly your mood, which will have an impact on your personality. It affects your ability to focus, right? Your decision making as well. It even improves your reflexes. And people think that it's because you're training for sports that the reflexes will change. But exercise actually gives you a moment of clarity mentally, right? So if I was to say that one is more important than the other, how I put it is this. A person that ignores their physical health and only works on their mental health is like somebody taking care of the engine in the car, but they have no tires and no rims. Right? The car will never really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It'll always be limited. You understand? And in reverse, if you were to take out the engine and just have the wheels, no steering, nothing.
The car will just roll for a while, but it'll just stop.
Exactly. There's going to be no direction to what the car can do. There's going to be no power behind it, nothing like that.
Correct.
So I think people detach them too much and say that one leads to the other. When in fact, we need to marry them together and understand that to be successful, whether it's in our jobs, whether you're a stay-at-home parent, whether you're a student, whether you're an entrepreneur, you need to marry the two together in order for your body to function at its best. And when I say your body, I mean the entire being, right? To function at its best. So that is my first take when it comes to that question, which is more important. It's an equilibrium between the two, right? I mean, guys, we can see from this, we spoke about it last week, right? During this period of lockdown, how many people began feeling stressed out, anxious, all these different things. The funny thing is, exercise could have helped to relieve those symptoms.
Correct. Correct.
You understand?
I think what you said there actually leads into another question that we got, with being, how can you exercise if you have all these other responsibilities going on at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't like to say people make excuses, but people do make excuses because, okay, granted, whether you're a single parent or not, a child is not up 24 hours a day. All right, unless you have a special needs child at home or special needs person in the home that you have to take care of, then I understand that the time for yourself is going to be limited because of that special care that you have to provide. All right. But given that, I know people will say that, but when before lockdown, you would have find them making time to go parties late in the night. You'd have hear them finding time to get up early to go a little
Yep.
beach, a little brunch, breakfast somewhere, whatever.
Was
People
to drink a
Most
beer in a
definitely.
bar.
yes. But then if you talk to them about something that's for them in terms of exercising or otherwise, is about when will I find the time? You found the time really to sit down and watch and binge watch movies.
Oh yeah.
Not so. You found the time to sit down and clock into news or social media, or you're coming through live on Instagram all for good 30, 45 minutes sometimes. You know, you blink and an hour gone and you didn't realize you were there so long. And then you turn around and say, I don't have time to exercise. So outside of certain cases, people need to be honest with themselves and look at the habits that they have formed
True.
before they ask questions such as, I don't say stuff as I don't have time. Come on. If it's that important to you, you will do it. That is the main thing.
Now, here's something that's pretty interesting as well too that came to my mind. I think sometimes as men, sometimes we don't take care of ourselves as we should. We have a responsibility in terms of family and a number of things like that. You know, sometimes men are the breadwinners of the house. You know, and a number of different elements that play in with respect to that. And you find that a lot of times they don't take care of their physical health, and
True.
that you could only go so long doing that. And then what could happen is that the same people that you're trying to provide for, you're not in a position to do that anymore because you're not taking enough care of yourself physically. So, I mean, I see the importance in terms of taking care of yourself so you'll be able to take care of others. So, I mean, physical training, physical exercise, I'm not saying for you to go to some extreme boot camp and go extreme CrossFit or anything like that. But to really get that cardio going will help in terms of, as you rightfully say, the clarity of mind in terms of
Yeah.
being able to push forward, run a business, be a good employee, supervisor on the job, a number of things like that. And I think it's something that we need to be cognizant of, especially now in the time that we are living in and the number of activities that are out there. If we don't take time for our physical health, things will start to break down as we go along in terms of our life overall. That's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Before you go, Mike, and something I can actually, attest to, you see, with lack of, well, both a lot of exercise and lack of exercise. You see that thing called short-term memory loss.
Mhm.
I can personally speak to that. It's not a good feeling. All right. So I will encourage anyone, especially those dealing with anxiety and depression, two things you need to look at is exercise and at the same time on the opposite spectrum, getting proper rest because it's a balance of the two there. So if you want anyone to tell you about short-term memory loss because of not doing things properly, hand raised. All right. Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Now that point you made, Chris, with regards to rest and stuff, we definitely want to get back to that, as well as um in terms of the way we do things when it comes to our activities, really, and that kind of thing. Now, what I'll say is this, right? When I saw that question, I had to laugh because I've been hearing it in my career for so much time from so many different people, right? And somebody will come and tell you that I'm a single mother, I work. When I get home, I have my kids, I have this, I have that, I have the other. They'll tell you I'm running a business, I have my family, or they may tell you I have a full-time job plus a second job, or I have a full-time job, a career, and different things to take care of. I'm very active in this, very active in that, whatever else. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with those things, right? Somebody commented here that people make time for what is important to them.
True.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing about exercises, it has been listed as, and this was a note made by a neurologist. She said that exercise is important, but not always seen as urgent. Right? What people do is things that have immediate importance in their mind is what they will address. And that's the number one reason why after we get a doctor telling us that we have this condition, we need this medical procedure, whatever else,
Correct.
then we run to the gym, we run to the doctor, we run to wherever else to take care of our health.
Mm-hmm.
And we've developed this reactive behavior towards health in that I can overlook it so long as I don't feel anything out of place. You know?
Yeah, we need to be proactive.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure if we ask men and women alike, mostly the men though, if they've gone for a checkup lately, most likely they're gonna say no.
Correct.
True, true.
Right?
true.
Women do it a bit more.
Correct.
Yeah. No check lights on the dashboard. They don't go by any other signs. But I mean, with a vehicle and all, you get your oil change and certain things change every so amount of miles.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a check light to come on. It's supposed to be a process and an understood process that they go through. But we get this habit of I'm feeling good, you know. I have a little pain here, a little pain there. And I feel that, but not bad.
Correct.
You know? So it's not bad, so that I just said yes yet. And sadly, that is the system we've built over the years that it's important. I know it's important, you know, but at this point, I'm not urgent enough for me to deal with it. And when we were speaking last week, I know Christopher, you spoke about this, where you gave this story about the dog on the jet, on the docks.
Yeah, the dock, lying down on the nail.
Right. So there were these two men, and there was this dog lying down between them, and the dog was making some noises. And one man was asked, "What happened to the dog?" The other guy said, "He lying on a nail." So the other guy said, "So why doesn't he get up?" And the other guy says, "It's not hurting him enough yet."
Not hurting enough yet, correct.
For him to get up. And sadly, some of us are not sick enough to take our health seriously. It's the honest truth. Right? It is sad, sad, but it's the truth.
It is the truth. And I mean, I don't like the idea that we often do wait until that check light engine turn on, or we get this life-changing health scare, or somebody, if you get a murmur by your irregular heartbeat in your check, is because something, you know. And I mean, I know healthy people that went from totally healthy and they just dropped down at the end and they found out, which is something completely different. Compared to people who know for a fact that their lifestyle will be contributing to that. Like there's a doctor that says people that die from diabetes or heart attack or high blood pressure, it should be written as suicide. Right? Because nobody's putting a gun to your head to eat junk food or anything like that. You are actually doing this yourself. People don't look at that. Of course, people say, you know, it's my prerogative, it's my life, I want to do this or whatever, until that life-changing moment comes, and then it's complete emptying of the fridge, gym membership one time, you know, doctor
7 days a week, everything going extreme.
And I think, you know, something that we know, why not spend the money on being proactive instead of having to spend the money after to be reactive? Like a lot of us, we're into wealth building and business and stuff like that, and we're trying to make money, but we don't want to be doing that to be paying doctor fees, right?
Oh yeah.
True.
You know, so that is something I wish a lot of people would take some proactive measure, some note of what they're doing right now, and see how they can adjust. And you know, so let's get real basic now, based on physical health. Those that are still locked down, those are still home. What are some basic things, Mike, you believe people should be doing during this time in terms of their physical health?
Okay, well, number one, I wanna take from the perspective that we will, how to put this? I want to put it as nice as possible. In one of my qualification courses, one of the lecturers said that more than likely, people are going to come and ask you, what is the minimum I need to do to get good health benefits from exercise? What's the least I could do for it to benefit me? And the sad thing is that the society we live in, where we want to do less and get more benefit out of it.
Exercise
right?
for 7 minutes, right? And you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, exercise has the ability to cause your brain to develop new brain cells even in your hippocampus.
Right.
It has the ability to change the anatomy of your brain, to change its physiology, and to change its function. So things will change within your brain as you do developmental exercises. But the minimum you should do is 30 minutes of activity. It doesn't have to be one type of activity, but it speaks about elevating your heart rate and engaging your body in movement. So it could be sometimes spent walking, different exercises. And we're going to that just now, but I want us to understand that we can't just try to get a very small shortcut and expect that doing the bare minimum alone is going to give us the full benefits, right? I hope I'm making sense for that, because people want to do the bare minimum, just scrape off the edge and want to get all the benefits from exercise. It's not going to happen like that. So recommended as a personal trainer, the minimum you should do is 30 minutes.
Right. So
at least 3 times for the week.
So we're going to be debunking all the myths of those infomercials that say 7 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, get ripped, hard body abs. You know,
everybody has 10 minutes a day.
Right? Let's be real. So we're cracking that myth right now. If you're saying that,
so let me see if I can balance this a little bit, right? There's the two things that I consider. A lot of these programs online and that they have information about, they try to sell to a mass body of people one program,
which don't work,
right? Try to make it one size fits all for everybody.
Yeah, that don't work.
But we are also different, right? Everybody has different lifestyles, different number of children. Each child has more trouble or less trouble, right? Different types of jobs, whether we be very sedentary or whether we're packing goods on a truck all day. Some of us are pre-diabetic, in a good bill of health. So there's so much different variables that it's difficult to say that a 7-minute ab workout is going to work for everybody. And I think the sad thing about it is it gets people false hope, and then they go through this process of doing it for 2 weeks, and then say it's not working, and they give up again and go further off the cliff than they were before. Right?
Yeah.
I think that everybody who's looking to get themselves in shape should spend some type of time speaking with a qualified professional about it, just to get an understanding of what is best for them as an individual. Right? And I mean, it's simple to get that information, and you can go for your checkup, and you can get that information there as well. They can give you some recommendations, right? So don't try to just go for the shortest, quickest result.
Correct.
Right? Let me be real for a second. Like I said, try to go for 30 minutes minimum, at least 3 days for the week. That's number one, right? Number two, we hear this all the time, that abs are built in the kitchen, right? I want to take that a bit further, right? We're talking about maintaining physical health, not just to look good, but also to feel good and to function effectively. And people don't understand that eating well is more than just me getting a small waist, right? Over the years, we talk about that so much that people just think that if I eat healthy, it's going to affect my definition of abs more than anything else. But it's going to give them more mental clarity. Like there are certain things that we put into our bodies that cause brain fog, right? I'm pretty sure, I'm positive about this. A lot of people, after the lockdown finished, went after the favorite junk food after not having it for so long.
Correct.
And either felt sick after, or felt like they was in a different world. The head felt a little funny, different little symptoms, and it shows that the body was rejecting these items. You know, so nutrition is not just about looking good, like I said, but as a like Chris said, as a person involved in wealth building and building a career, having an active family house where you have to be on your feet 24/7, you need to fuel your body properly to be able to do that.
Correct.
Right? And I want to give some quick tips about the nutrition part of things, right? Number one, drink more water. I'm not going to show the label because I'm not sponsored by anybody, right? Drink more water, right? A lot of people are walking around dehydrated.
Truth.
And it can cause, I've had clients come in with so many symptoms, and when you speak to them, you realize you're not drinking enough water. Migraines, right? Big part of not drinking enough water. Body cramps, right? For women, a very difficult menstrual cycle. For men, these difficult bladder problems that they may develop as well. Constipation, lack of sleep, weight gain. You know, there's a lot of different things that happen simply by not drinking enough water. And I think for you guys, working in offices with AC as well. I mean, Chris, I know you like the temperature to be cool.
Yeah.
Right? So you can attest as well. Sometimes when you're in the AC, you don't really feel thirsty.
You don't, you don't feel it as much, but because I am on my health, right? I drink at least between 8 and 4 o'clock when I leave the office. I drink at least 1.5 to almost 2 liters of water every day. And that's just between my 8 to 4. So, but then again, I know the ill effects of not drinking enough water as well. Trust me, that is a story that might be a little too personal for Facebook Live. But I tell you, there is some ill effects of not drinking enough water, and especially for men. And we could talk about UTIs, urinary tract infections, and all these type of different things too, which do stem from not drinking enough water as well.
Dehydration, yeah.
From dehydration, exactly.
And as you said earlier, Chris, again, it goes back to important but not urgent.
Correct.
We know how important water is, but we're not suffering from anything right now. It's not necessary for us to stay to where we're supposed to be with it, so we let it slide.
Correct.
You know, correct. So what about you, Alistair, in terms of like hydrating and stuff like that? Do you think it's overlooked a lot in the professional world by people who at their jobs, at their desk for a long period of time for the day?
Yeah, I think it's overlooked a lot. I think what happens now, a lot of people got into this whole culture thing about drinking coffee right through black. And yes, you're getting.
Hey, let me listen.
Listen, I'm not against the coffee drinkers, you know. I don't tell you that one time.
Right. Okay.
But I talk about, drinking coffee and trumping that way over the amount of water that you drink. Meaning you're hitting down 6 cups of coffee and then drinking half a glass of water or just taking a sip of water just for manners. I mean, that has some side effects with you as well too. And as men, as you get older too, you have to look at things like prostate and all these things like that, and your health, especially when it comes to water drinking and everything. Everything is connected in terms of that. Now, Mike, I had a question for you. Just circling back a little bit with respect to your exercising 30 minutes a day. Now, 30 minutes is a time, but anything can happen during that time in terms of exercise. A person could walk 1 mile a day and just do that for 30 minutes and think that they exercise. So I shouldn't say the quantity in terms of time, but talk about what you're looking at in terms of calorie burn or whatever that should really encompass that 30 minutes that you do. It can't be just youngsters strolling on the road. It has to be something a little more quality within that 30 minutes.
All right, so that's a really good question. And I think it's one that people struggle with a lot, as in what should you do for your workouts, right? I want to break it up into some categories here because people tend to do certain things that are comfortable for them, and they think they can maintain for a long period of time and that kind of thing based on their lifestyle. But you have to measure that against the results you're looking for, right? So for example, for the stay-at-home mom who wants to lose the baby weight that she may have put on during her pregnancy, walking with a stroller for an hour will help, but only for a period of time, right? There'll be a plateau and then you have to change, right? So there are different variations based on the person and their needs. So what I'm going to do is I want to break it down based upon what those needs may be. So for example, somebody's looking for weight loss, because I think that's the number one reason most people seek out a personal trainer or some type of health advice is for weight loss. So I'll deal with that first, right? Number one, And this particular one goes to everybody. Number one, you want to elevate your heart rate. There must be some type of cardiovascular activity in there to elevate your heart rate. That can range from skipping, jogging, a HIIT workout, which is a high intensity interval training type workout, where you have shorter rest periods and more. So for example, 20 seconds of intense work, 10 seconds of rest, or 15 seconds of rest, right? That'll kind of be the structure of a high intensity interval training type workout. But the important thing is to elevate your heart rate, right? There's a point at which your heart rate should reach, what we call your max heart rate, which will encourage more fat burning. It'll get your body flowing in a different way. It'll get your body firing. It'll also engage your brain a lot more, right? So you want to elevate your heart rate. Another good reason for elevating your heart rate, and is a secret, is that for your flight of your fight or flight instinct and response, you want to make sure that you can actually flee if you need to, right? There are a lot of people who, sadly, due to stress, when their heart rate elevates and their mind goes into a fight or flight mode, they can get a heart attack because their heart is not accustomed to doing that type of vigorous activity.
Right.
Right? Something as simple as your child nearly fall, you make a quick dash, your heart rate shoots up. You know that feeling when your kids, you sit down, even now, you sit down on the edge of a tree or a wall and they nearly fall.
Yeah, rock. Yeah.
And your whole inside sink and come back up.
Feel like it, yeah.
Right? And your heart started to go beating fast. Some adults, their heart, because of the lack of cardiovascular activity, their heart can't take that kind of shock, right? So just for general life, we need to ensure that we're doing some cardiovascular activities, right? So like I said, cardiovascular stuff, elevate the heart rate, resistance training. That can be body weight, or with dumbbells, or resistance bands, or resistance loops, 2 jugs of water, your baby. Let us be real. I don't think there's an excuse for moms, right, who just had a baby to not exercise. You have the ideal weight to work with, right? I have a lot of women who I have some clients right now that came out of their pregnancy, and it's within the recommended time for them to start exercise. And I will always tell them, pick the child up. If they're crying, it doesn't mean you have to go and put them down and stop exercising. Use them. Keep that time engaged still and do your workout. The good thing about it is that's going to be a weight that'll progressively get heavier as well. Right? Yeah. Let me really, you need to change dumbbells. You have to go for a different bar, different band. Sure. This baby is growing by the day.
Correct.
Right? So as the baby grows, you're going to get stronger too. You're going to lose more weight. Right? So resistance training, whether it be body weight, dumbbells, resistance bands, something at home, a gas tank for the guys, for the ladies. I mean, it works. Concrete blocks. Right? Yep. Bottles of water, whether it be the 1.5 liter, whether it be the gallon jugs.
Yeah.
Anything. Get some resistance in. Right? So this is a mix of how you can structure your workout. And the next thing would be, and I always tell people this, flexibility is very important. A lot of people don't stretch. They don't bend their bodies in certain ways. And that's why as they get older, it have this thing we talk about when they sleep bad.
Yeah.
Right? I can't ever remember as a young person, as a child, sleeping bad and sleeping wrong. You just slept.
You slept.
But as they get older, you just sleep bad. You sleep wrong.
Sleep bad. You lie down on one side too long.
Yeah, I mean, why is that, right? You lie down on this side of your hip too long and you wake up with a pain and a stiffness.
Yeah.
And it's because of a lack of flexibility and movement in the joints. So always incorporate some flexibility movement, stretching, get the body to be more limber. So cardio activity, elevate the heart rate. It includes some resistance training. That's for both men and women. Women don't be afraid of the weights and work on your flexibility. 3 simple parts. Once we incorporate all 3 at half an hour, we got to go, right? I don't know if that answers the line of your question, Alice, or if you wanted something more specific.
I think you're going along the line that we talked about, and as you rightfully said earlier, that each person is different lifestyles. There's not a one size fits all, and I'm glad you maintain that particular structure behind it. A person needs to find out what it is that is going to put them into the discomfort of getting the exercise going and everything like that. If it's too comfortable, it's not going to work. All right, so you're right. Getting into that discomfort level and being uncomfortable is really going to help in terms of getting that 30 minutes in, and really that 30 minutes will be real quality in terms of what to do. So yeah, that answers my question.
Most definitely.
Right.
Right.
Just want to give a shout before you continue. I just want to give a shout out for our listening audience right now. If it is that you all have any questions, keep the questions coming in. We're live and alive, as I say from before. So as you realize that we are very responsive in terms of answering your questions. So if you have any questions with respect to physical health and everything that we're talking about right now, feel free to drop it right in the comments immediately. All right, and just feel free to just share.
Yeah. Most definitely. That's good. I'm actually like this next point I'm going to make is based on a question I got asked. I know I spoke just about drinking water, right? And somebody asked, I was trying to get them to post it in the chat, but I guess some people want to catch the private, but they want us to address them for everybody to benefit, right? The question was basically, aren't all liquids? So once you hydrate with fluids, won't it be healthy for your body either way? I'll give my answer first. That is no. Right? Every liquid is not created equal. Right? Hands down, the best thing you can consume is good old quality H2O. Right? Water. Plain old regular water. Right? No, and I say they can't, I say the best thing, the easiest thing as well.
True.
And the simplest thing for your body to digest and absorb is plain old regular water. Right? If I have to give a tip to anybody else to improve their health simply based on fluids, number one, carbonated beverages, cut them out or lessen them down. Sweetened drinks, cut them out or lessen them down, right? And I say cut them out or lessen them down because based again on your particular need, you may need to be a bit more drastic than somebody else.
Nice.
Right? Let's be honest that the person that is desperately trying to lose weight or has a medical condition that requires them to drop some weight and they're moving into the obese category or these type of things, they need to go a little bit harder in terms of their diet and their activity than somebody who is just wanting to look good for carnival. Right? They're already in shape, they just want to lose like 2 pounds. Your movement will be different. Right? So one person will have to definitely cut it out and one person can reduce.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So we need to understand that we can't look at other people and say, well, I'm going to do exactly what she's doing because I want to look like that. Based on where they are, it'll be a bit different. And I think we get there's so much things on social media, on the internet going around now with people looking so fit and so trim that we sometimes look at what they're eating and say, well, if I do that, I'll look the exact same way.
Correct.
Right? Sadly, guys, it's not the total truth. You could follow somebody else's diet and get really amazing results. That's a guarantee. But would it be the best thing for you? It's not always true.
Correct.
Right? And I want to really stress too, for those out there who are entrepreneurs or really focus on their career right now, you want to make sure that your body is being fed well so you can put the best of your mind and yourself into what you're doing. I think a lot of people during this COVID-19 lockdown period would have regressed in their diets and would have eaten a lot of junk still and would have sadly started to try their hand at different foods and went crazy with the fried foods and baking. A client told me that she baked a cake every week.
Yeah.
She had cake every single day of every single week. And I'm like, what? Right? And we got in that state where we were so comfortable being home and everybody turned into like a little couch potato.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. Right? But that would have also caused us to get sluggish, to lose focus, to shorten our attention span.
Yes.
right?
True.
So that you sit down, put by your desk to do work in a Zoom call, and you're like this, and your eyes, and I ask you a
That's it.
question, and you're lost.
Correct.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
guys, I'm being honest. I think it's a problem that a lot of people have that they
Mm.
don't realize is a problem. That their foods and what they consume is affecting how they function and work.
Correct. And
I
that
think.
what you said there is exactly what we were talking about in the last conversation. The fact that they got so much into these new habits, and then they turn around and look and say they're not feeling productive. They turn around and say they're depressed, and it's not because you're home not doing anything. The fact is you're home and you decide to not do anything,
Yeah,
Mm.
right?
very
And
true.
even coming back to that question about the liquids, I can tell you I was the biggest, you know, child of drinking Monster, you know, energy drinks by the can. I was collecting them, you know,
Whoa.
and I can tell you, I mean, the sugar high may have been nice, but when I
Crash.
looked at, or when I found out that, you know, okay, you may have been gaining weight, losing weight, and I looked at the fact that my water intake was so low that I wasn't feeding my organs properly. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm keeping my energy up and I'm able to move around. I'm drinking Monster, whatever, and I'm good.
Yep.
But that was actually to my detriment long term. And I'm talking about not just one today, one tomorrow. I used to be drinking that stuff almost every single day, right? I can
Yeah.
tell it had that. There were times I was hooked on vanilla lattes, right?
Oh yeah, boy.
Most recently, well, not recently, like last year, end of last year, I had to like wean myself off of flavored water, cran water, and the like. Because I mean, sometimes the sun is real hot, and when you drink a nice cran water, it goes down good. But that flavored water, um, not everything they put in some of these things are good for you. So just as Mike said, good old fashioned water,
Yeah. Try that. True.
hydrating
Yeah.
your organs and the times you drink water as well. Some people wait till the end of the day, not knowing sometimes, all right, you've been asleep for 8 hours or however long. Your body needs not cold water, but drink a cup of water when you wake up in the morning. There are different routines,
Yeah.
and people can Google this information as well. There are
Yep.
times of the day when it's best for you to drink water. When you wake in the morning, I think it's 30 or 45 minutes before a meal. These kind of simple little things that contribute to your overall health. So it's not just saying if you drink enough, if you drink any liquid.
Yeah.
No. All right,
Yeah.
people, okay, rum is liquid, wine is liquid,
Yeah.
so
Liquid courage.
it may taste good at some point, time and place for everything and in moderation. But when it comes
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good
to
point.
health,
I'm
water,
glad they
good
brought
old
up.
fashioned water.
I'm glad they brought up moderation, and also a question here asking in terms of cheat days. And I think this is one that up your alley, Mike, I could talk about it. A person asks, I think his name is Franca, how often and how much should you devour in your cheat day?
All right. So I'm going to give you two answers to that question, right? Number one, I only recommend cheat days based on the individual,
Mm.
right? A cheat day to somebody looking to lose a lot of weight or looking to change their lifestyle is like giving a person in AA a beer. It
Yeah,
can spiral them back down a cycle now,
correct.
right?
Mm.
One cheat meal could turn into a cheat day, and I am seeing cheat day, right? I've never told a client they can have a cheat day before. I recommend cheat meals, right? Reason being, um,
Might eat the whole day.
yeah, and in
Yeah,
one day, you can consume so much calories and so
correct.
much excess sugars and processed fats and different things that you can throw your body into a different line. They just throw your body out of whack
Mhm.
after working so hard,
Correct.
Mm.
right? So this is number one. Cheat days were meant as a way for people to reward themselves for the work they would have put in before, right? That's what it's meant for. It wasn't meant as I did so light. I can let myself go on this day, right? It's meant as a simple reward. I tell my clients choose a particular dessert or snack that you want to have as a cheat meal. Again, I said cheat meal. So that should also answer the question that you should not have a cheat day, and that should then answer the question as to how much you should devour.
Right.
Right? One meal. Choose wisely. Right?
One meal, cheat meal, not cheat meals.
Yeah, cheat meal, singular. Right? The reason for that is primarily because you want to get your body to that piece of results as quickly, yes, but as safely as possible. And you want to cause too many rise and falls in your blood sugar levels. And these having a cheat day will put you on a roller coaster ride.
Correct.
Right? So one meal may not be bad. Again, it's like Chris said earlier, it's in moderation. Right? So for example, now what I do with my clients, and there's a little trick. So any personal trainers on the line, anybody looking to get themselves in shape or get their partner in shape or whatever, what I normally do with my clients, I nickname certain difficult workouts after their favorite cheat meal. Right? So let's say, for example, you like cheesecake.
Wow.
I'm going to nickname a workout that has burpees and all these different things in it as cheesecake. Because I want to mentally trigger that response. When you think about cheesecake, you're going to think about, I went through all of that. I don't think I really want that cheesecake. Right?
Yeah.
And if I'm having it, I will stick to a small piece. Right? And I think the average person needs to put in their mind certain little triggers that, right? I need to not try to put back in what I give out in my exercise in my cheat meals, but I need to restrict myself a little bit. And a good way to do that is simply by giving yourself some mental triggers, right? Associating certain foods with certain activities, associating certain foods with how you feel, right? Those things help you to kind of stay away from overdoing with the cheat meals, right? So if I have to recommend, I would always say one cheat meal, and that's for the week, not for the day, right? So one cheat meal for the week, and try to rotate and choose, even though you have a cheat meal, choose something that is still a little bit healthy, so that you don't overdo at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, and that I like. We see when you mentioned what the average person is doing. It comes back to your goal as well, and the average person should not be looking at what celebrities are doing and stuff like that. Like for instance, you know, a lot of people watch Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock.
Yeah.
Have you seen his cheat meal?
It's a cheat day.
You see what he puts down.
It comes down.
Right, but at the same time, he is not just a celebrity, he's an athlete in that sense, in his realm. He's a bodybuilder. So what he needs, his goals physically, he could do things differently than the average person. So people might be saying, well, I exercise and I could probably go and put on a whole meal or a whole pizza and put back on. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. Don't look at celebrities and what they do for their training and to get in shape and whatnot and think, well, I could do too. Bodybuilders who would eat, 9 pieces of chicken and these kind of things. No, that is not for you. That is not for you.
It
comes down to the individual, and that's where you said speaking to a professional, whether it's your doctor, a personal trainer, nutritionist, about what you should be intaking. I know we're talking physical health, so it's going to branch off into nutrition. What you should be doing to get the results that you need. And that's something that a lot of people confuse.
Yeah. Right. And to piggyback on what I said just now with celebrities and these different things, I want to debunk another myth that people get in their mind, that when they see a transformation of a celebrity for a role, right, they think that this person would have done a workout in the gym similar to what they may be doing, and they may look online and find a workout that was done by Captain America and by this person, that person. Number one, this is this person's job. This is what they do.
Day in, day out.
Right? Most celebrities, for example, Michael B. Jordan, that did Creed. He did 2 days, meaning he worked out twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you have intense cardio in the morning, then you have your workout in the evening. So a lot of us are working out for 30 minutes. We can't have the same cheat day as a person who's working out twice a day, 7 days for the week.
Yeah, for
it's
2,
not
3
going to be the
hours.
same.
Correct.
You understand? It's not going to be the same. So we need to understand, like I said, everybody is different, and we can't compare these things we see on social medias all the time to what we want to go do for ourselves. It's not going to work out the same.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're going to be starting to cut into time just now. Mike, for those listening, watching, I should say, actually. I know this is your business. I don't want to give away too much freebies. All right. But I don't know if you have a routine or something, simple exercises people can do at home right now for those who wants to get active, who wants to try to get some sort of energy going, get the agility back, be able to stretch and not feel like, getting out of a chair is a is a activity.
Basically the
What are
background
some basic exercises that one can be doing at home right now that they can start and help them?
All right. So I want to be a little bit selfish, just a little bit selfish, in that I want to say right now that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to send that routine. I'm going to send a simple routine to everybody that is currently on this chat, right? This live right now, currently.
Right.
Comment, give me a routine in the comments, and you're going to get an inbox of that workout to you directly now. But not right now, because I have to come up before the sentence.
Yeah. Right.
You're going to get it. Right? Because the thing is, I mean, there are a lot of people, like we said before, important versus urgent. People have come on this live and saw you talk about health and physical health and be like, but it's really important and it's really urgent because we live in a society that is being depleted based on lifestyle diseases.
Correct.
Right? If we think COVID-19 killing many people, over the years, there were people that died from diabetes, heart attack, stroke, and conditions that we eat ourselves into and literally sat ourselves into. You'll be surprised. So, guys, if you want to get exactly what Chris spoke about just now, a routine that you can do, a very basic routine that is similar that anybody can complete, just comment now in the comment section. Send me a routine. Right? That's a good line, right, guys? Send me a routine.
Yeah.
Send me the routine. Right. Okay. So I saw somebody commented. Right. Somebody said, "Give me a routine." Let's leave it at that one. I like that one.
That's
give
fine.
Me a routine.
That's fine.
Right.
Give me a routine.
So comment that now. Once you comment that before this live is finished, you'll get it in the inbox. Right. Correct. I know. I saw another question that somebody asked earlier. Do certain foods cause you to be depressed?
Yes.
Right. What do you guys think?
All right. No, there's a thing with gut health, and there's a certain enzyme, if that's the way, I don't want to butcher the word, is your gut microbiome or microbiome. I could be pronouncing it wrong, so forgive me. Right.
Second one.
That does play a role in your mental health, including anxiety and depression. What you feed your stomach creates that enzyme, and your stomach feeds the brain. Right? People don't understand that central nervous system that connects right from your gut straight up to your brain. Now, there's other things besides that when it comes to if we know the spine and how it conducts energy and electrical signals from your mind that responsible for your body movements. So you see immediately how if you eat the incorrect foods and your stomach is building the incorrect chemical balance in there, it does affect your mental health. It does get you depressed, does give you anxiety, give you gut problems like irritable bowel syndrome. And this is not just me talking, this is scientifically been proven. You can Google this, people. You have phones, you have your computers, Google this, Google gut health and mental health, and you will get a range of stuff when it comes to proper eating and digestion.
So what about you?
No, I've never heard of foods that actually cause depression or anything like that. May not be knowledgeable in terms of that, but I do know that, sometimes when you abuse, especially the fast foods and stuff, it does have adverse effects on your body itself with respect to your thought process, your movements, a number of things like that. And you rightfully say, you have to feed your mind right too. Right? And it's not just in terms of knowledge of things that you learn and write down or anything like that. It also in terms of nutrition as well. Right? Proper nutrition is bring clarity. I don't know any specific foods that cause depression in a manner speaking, but always good nutrition is really good for the body overall. Right? You may have some persons who have certain exceptions to the rule with specific types of food, and it all varies based on a person on a case-by-case basis. That's just my take on it.
Exactly what you said there, Alistair, is really true. And also what you said there, Chris, that is it's proven by science that what we consume has a direct impact on our bodies and our minds. Right? I want to give you guys, before I get into that piece, I'm gonna say this first. Like Chris said, with gut health and all these different things, the way our body breaks down food, when food is broken down, our body doesn't know the difference really between a sandwich versus let's say a chicken versus turkey. Your body doesn't really know that this was chicken, this was turkey, right? What your body knows is the molecular breakdown of the item, what it contains, meaning proteins, carbs, fats, your macronutrients and your micronutrients.
Right.
That's what your body knows. So to say that certain particular items, it's all about how your body processes those items.
Correct.
And what your body's current state is as well, right? When it comes to food and depression, two things happen. Number one, a lot of people eat because they feel depressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and they call it comfort food. They call it that coping mechanism. However, normally the choice of foods are foods that cause further gut issues, fast food, a lot of sugary stuff, a lot of these different things that cause further gut issues that keep you in that state.
Yeah, flour.
Flour, right? As we say right now, the mighty Darth Vader foods right now is what we call gluten.
Yeah.
Right? But people don't realize that they can eat themselves into depression by overeating, by consuming a lot of bad foods, right? And I don't want to just go on the line talk about fast food and these different things. Everybody's body will be a bit different, but the rule of thumb is you don't want to stress eat because it normally leads to more stress.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The most vicious cycle in nutrition is an overweight person or a person that is fighting trying to cope with weight gain, and they eat when they get stressed or eat when they don't lose the weight to cope, and that cycle gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Or the person who comes home from work stressed out and they go to chocolate, something sweet, ice cream, cake, something salty. Now, if you listen to what I'm saying, salty, sweet, and sometimes fried. These three things normally lead towards high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease. Right? So we kind of literally eat ourselves into a sick place.
Correct.
Right? What I want to talk about a little bit is a sad fact, and it's going to be a bit of an eye opener for some people. Studies have shown that, for example, somebody did a study, a doctor from based in the UK did a study on mental health, where he showed that, and he compared it to the economy, right? What he showed was that when you are diagnosed, for example, with depression, the first thing a doctor does is medicate.
Yeah.
They hardly ever, I don't want to say never because there may be a couple that do, they hardly ever speak about your diet. Their first choice is to medicate. When you medicate, they then try to rehabilitate. And as they go down the line, he listed 5 things that they would do in the process. None of the 5 was nutrition.
Wow.
And he said that it would be cheaper and more effective for the client if they took out at least 4 of the steps and added nutrition. Right? And he said that basically what is happening is that it's more profitable for them to get us on medication.
Correct.
So then lead us to another medication and another medication, right?
Yeah.
Because let's be real, each medication that we take has a side effect that is solved by another medication
Yep.
or a list of side effects,
Yep.
right? And it is the economy of the world and the pharmaceutical world right now that we medicate before we deal with the actual problem,
Yeah. Treatment.
right?
Treat it,
Treatment is
repair it.
a money-making business, guys.
Yeah.
And what I want to stress to you guys is that we can eat ourselves back into a healthier state if we choose to structure our diets based upon not just emotional eating, but eating for better health and for better brain function and a better lifestyle, right? So yes, certain foods can trigger certain things hormonally in our body, and they can trigger different things. So for example, a person with gluten intolerance could get acne, they could get skin problems, they could get diuretic issues, they can get migraines, constipation, a list of different things. That can depress you,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But by switching from white bread and these things and eating regular pasta to eating probably rice pasta instead, and using brown rice and using provision flour or even coconut flour, these different things, it can change how your body would respond. You can still have
Right.
bread, but made out of different substance. You can still have pasta, just not made out of flour, right? So there are ways to enjoy certain foods, but just in a healthier way,
Correct.
right? And they lead us to then, like you said, better gut health, which leads to better organ function and better brain function, right? And I'm being honest with you guys, I honestly think a lot of people have eaten themselves into a state of depression, eating themselves into heart disease, all these different things. And they don't realize they can reverse it by the same tool they use to cause it.
Correct.
Now that's a good point. It's something I have always listened to, and especially for persons who deal in just in medicating everything. If you're not part of the solution, there's lots of money to be made in prolonging the problem.
Ooh, I
That
like
is
that.
true.
Yeah.
I like
understand?
that.
That's
Correct.
something that we
I
have to
like
remember.
that.
Now, I know we kind of went over the little time and thing, but do you have any closing words that you want to put forth to our viewers and listeners out there, Mike, with respect to physical health?
Number one, everybody should make it a goal to improve their physical health. Everybody, right? I have people that have arthritis, people with Parkinson's, people who are in their are over 65, over 70. Currently, I'm working with a company in the US that deals with mental developmental disabilities, and their staff and clients are involved in our workout routines, right?
Nice.
So nobody should be limited from partaking in physical activity, right? Nobody has an excuse really and truly. There are guys I see online that are in a wheelchair doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
Right? Never limit yourself. If you are not sure as to how to go about doing it based on your particular situation, find a professional, personal trainer, physiotherapist, ask your doctor, speak to somebody, find out some information, right? That was point number two. Find a professional to give you some advice, right? Number three, we always hear it, you can't outwork a bad diet, but you can't outlive a bad diet neither.
Correct.
Right? We can't think that, okay, I think you mentioned this before. People with, for example, type 2 diabetes. I've had clients before that were overweight, that were eating badly. And when I told them about it, they would have said, well, I shouldn't say clients, potential clients, that said that I checked my doctor and I'm perfectly fine. I don't have diabetes, nothing is wrong with me. Fast forward 10 years, they are now diabetic, right? Because it's not showing symptoms on the outside, and the doctor may not see it right now, it doesn't mean that you're not heading down that path already.
Correct.
Right? My mother always said, prevention is better than cure. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We save a lot more money, right? If we prevent ourselves from having to buy tablets, injections, all these different things, medical visits, doctor visits, whatever else, if we simply prevent it in the first place, right? Point number 4, eating healthy is not just for adults. It's not just for people over 25 and 30 and that kind of thing.
Correct.
Eating healthy should be mandatory for everybody, kids even.
Kids eating, correct.
I mean, if we understand the statistics right now of the amount of obese children in the world, these are going to be the obese adults of tomorrow. And if you look at it from a financial perspective, right? And I showed something this the other day. The government spends a lot of money, the government of every country spends a lot of money on healthcare. For people that have eaten themselves into becoming an expenditure.
Correct.
Right? So if we want to save the budget a little bit for the next couple of years, let's give our kids healthier eating habits. Right? Eat green, eat from the earth, meaning eat produce, fresh produce. There are a lot of green markets in Trinidad right now. There are a lot of people that are planting home gardens. Plant a home garden. Eat from your own soil. These things are going to help you to prevent yourself from falling into the trap of having medical and lifestyle diseases. Right? And finally, enjoy your physical health. Right? Enjoy it. Find something that you enjoy doing. Hiking, riding bike, mountain bike riding. Shout out to all my clients who do mountain bike riding. Shout out to everybody online right now that does hikes, that does off-track riding, that does cycling, that does swimming, that does hockey, football, basketball, all these different things. Find an activity that you like and enjoy and dive in. Notice I didn't list any indoor activities like gaming, right? Playing football on the PS4 is not playing football. Right? It doesn't get you to get active and move, right?
Correct.
So get outside.
And get your heart rate there, let's get you active.
Exactly. Send your heart rate way up, right? Get the kids outside and let them run, right? Send them in the shop without the phone. Tell them run quick and come back. You guys remember that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Run quick and come back.
Come back, yeah.
Right? These are the little things we can do to really and truly improve our physical health. And I want to guarantee you guys, if we improve our physical health, it will improve our mental health and also line us up for success. Every single successful entrepreneur, when we look at the Bill Gates, these men out there who are Elon Musk, these guys all say the same thing: exercise, nutrition, and rest. As part of a daily activity for a successful person. I mean, it's in the recipe that they give us. And they are a good example to follow when it comes to watching that pattern as well. So my thing is, don't limit yourself, jump in and see the benefits.
Great.
Yeah. Correct is right. All right. And I mean, the message is simple, folks. At the end of the day, invest in your physical health, invest in your nutrition, or you'll be paying those medical bills and they are more expensive. All right. It's plain talk. You choose. All right. What happens next is up to you. All right. We had a great conversation this evening, folks. I hope you got some nuggets. I hope you got some information. And once again, if you put in the chat, send me a routine, give me a routine, you will get a routine, all right, from Micaiah. And be sure to join the conversation next week, all right? Same time, same day, 6:30 p.m. next week, Tuesday. What are we talking about next week? Is relationships?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, next week. All right, we'll be touching relationships next week, people. Be sure to tune in. Tell a friend. Get someone else involved. Join the conversation. It was great. Thank you.
It was good, guys.
Bye-bye.
Peace.